The Accidental Entrepreneur is brought to you with the help of our sponsor, Aweber, the world's leading small business email marketing and automation service provider. Since 1998, Aweber has helped more than 1 million small businesses and entrepreneurs through its suite of web-based email marketing, automation tools, and education. Aweber, the best option when it comes to marketing your business. The podcast is also brought to you by the Alternative Board. Since 1989, the Alternative Board, or TAB, has been one of the leading peer advisory and business coaching organizations for independent business owners and CEOs across the world. By facilitating peer advisory boards, private one-on-one coaching, and strategic planning services, TAB helps business owners improve their businesses in ways that change their lives. And be sure to connect with our affiliate sponsor, GSM Growth Agency. They're boosting e-commerce businesses to 6 and 7 figures in revenue and cover everything from ads and social media influencers to making your website better. GSM Growth Agency focuses on taking businesses from startup success to bigger success, going above and beyond to make sure growth sticks around. They're all about cool ideas, lasting partnerships, and making your mark in the e-commerce world. And be sure to support the podcast by ordering some logo merchandise from our online store. Listen to all of our sponsors' commercials later in this episode and follow their links in the show notes to learn more about their products and services.
Your brand, your business name.
Yeah.
The service you offer and where you do it at.
Okay.
Right? And everything you do. So within your GMB, within your website, within your services, citations, you hear like this lingo called citations, your name, address, phone number. And citation is just the digital yellow book, right?
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I'm Mitch Beinhaker, your host. We're going to be talking to Alfredo in a minute. I think he grew up in California, but I'm not sure where you are now, but you'll tell me in a minute, Alfredo. And if you are watching on your favorite directory, listening on your favorite directory, leave us a 5-star review whenever you can. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like us, so guys like Alfredo and myself can connect and keep bringing you good stuff. So let's get on with today's show.
The information provided in these episodes is for entertainment purposes only. It is not a guarantee of success or to be construed as advice of any kind. You should always seek advice from local licensed professionals before making any decisions.
The dictionary defines an entrepreneur as a person who organizes and manages any enterprise, especially a business, usually with considerable initiative and risk. People often start a business without much choice, perhaps due to a job loss or just being dissatisfied at work, and they come up with an idea they just know can be successful. They become entrepreneurs by accident. That is to say, their success or failure happens by accident, not with intention. My name is Mitch Beinhaker. I'm a corporate attorney and a business advisor. You're listening to The Accidental Entrepreneur, my podcast about how to achieve success on purpose, not by accident. Join me along with our monthly guests, where we share our knowledge and help you get a hold of your business. And now on to today's episode.
Hey, Alfredo Delgado here, founder and SEO of Purpose Marketing. I specialize in Google Maps and website optimization. Born in Costa Rica, raised in Southern California, focused on online presence for businesses, partnerships with like William Jones for growth, and also director of sales for all this local software, a new Google My Business Profile Manager with local SEO tool.
All right, Alfredo. So I know it took us a while. We got some crazy way we connected through somebody, and then we figured it all out. So I appreciate your patience. Now it's like middle of October. We were like talking the summertime, right? Wasn't it during the summertime?
Yeah. It's been a little bit. Yeah, I think it's about right. Summertime.
All right. And during the comments, I was saying where are you located?
So I'm now, and essentially where I grew up from 2 years old on is Southern California. So about an hour and a half, depending on traffic, from LA to 2 hours and a half from San Diego. It's a small town, Hesperia, California. It's the high desert, Inland Empire region.
Cool. Okay. Well, let's start the show by talking about you. Tell me about your background, where you got your business experience, where you got your SEO experience, your marketing experience. and then we'll get to second half of the show after commercials. We'll do all about SEO and the magic of what people need to learn about.
Yeah, great. So this journey, it kind of started back in high school, right? So I had a learning disability, was a latchy kid, and came to high school, right? It's time to go out and get a job, and man, I didn't know nothing about nothing, right? Back in the day, there was Miller's Outpost, for those of you that remember. So I went in there, and everything you shouldn't do, I did, right? And man, I walked out of there defeated, like, oh, it was the ugliest feeling I've ever had. So I told myself I was never going to feel this again. And I got books and audio tape and trying to get around people, and then to improve that process for myself. And in
Okay.
that process, I helped people around me, buddies, people from high school, like, and I polished that process, was able to help them get in the door, interview right, land jobs. I told myself I was never going to feel that way. So from there was born a kind of like a resume writing business I had. But
Okay.
it was tough. I was able to help people. I believe that's my gift that I got, is help those around me level up.
Okay.
And I was great at it from, within when I landed the job with Best Buy before Geek Squad was there. I was the best, one of the best in the country. And all my technicians, I was able to level them up, always leveling up my technicians, government jobs, bids, different things. But
Mm-hmm.
what came about with that is it's hard to make some money for me, in my experience, right? To people that are looking for jobs or unemployed. So I'm like,
Right.
man,
Don't
I
have any
wanted,
money to pay you.
yeah, I wanted to make a bigger impact.
Right.
And at the time, I had, my family was just growing, just beginning my family. So I'm like, how can I make more money? So the goal
Right.
was to replace one job, or replace one paycheck, I should say. That was the
Right.
ultimate goal. So I was into computers and whatnot. I'm like, how can I make a bigger impact and charge more? So I got into kind of marketing through the local marketing vote with Jason and James. They teach you wide, right? They teach you the wide picture, and then you kind of gravitate to the path of least resistance, thing you pick up easiest, and you have success from ads to SEO to GMB to
Right.
social media, reputation manager. They teach it all. Some of them wrap, some there's people that do it all. So I gravitated and was good at Google Maps.
Okay.
Um,
But their
and
training was all digital. It was all the digital marketing
all
stuff.
online, yeah, all online
Got it. Got it.
digital marketing, right? So I kind of gravitated to that. So I'm like, man, this is a good way to make a bigger impact.
Mm-hmm.
Businesses have money, they all need marketing, and if I can help a business elevate, I help the business, I help the employees, the owners,
Right.
the community. So that's kind of in 2019 where Purpose My Marketing grew, because I
Okay.
wanted, just like the resume and preparing for interviews, you have to be on purpose. You got to be prepared, right?
Right.
And same thing. That's why I named it Purpose Marketing, because it's on purpose. It's targeted,
Right.
and it basically is I help businesses with engagement and awareness. Um, excuse me.
Yeah.
So, that's how that kind of developed, and through that, in my entrepreneur journey, um, you know, polishing my skills, I
Right.
kind of just focused on GMB, and I had my recipe, I had my formula down.
Yeah.
That's all I did. It was just a GMB, and I was world class at it. I was the best, right?
Google My Business. That's what GMB stands for.
Correct. Google My
Got
Business.
it.
Yep, yep.
Got it.
Now
Got it.
it's a Google Business Profile, right?
Right. I know they changed it. Right.
Yeah. So what happens though is that's always a moving target, and Google's always changing things up and making
Yeah.
things for the user, right? To, you know, make sure everything stays honest.
Yeah,
So they
because they know
change
there's guys like you that are going to figure the system out, and then you're going to make it as advantageous to you as you can. So then they keep moving the bar and changing it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So along the way in there, I built some partnerships with William that was I was allowed me to work with more entrepreneurs, allowed me to work with more businesses, and my business grew. Um,
Now, what do they do?
so William Jones, it's a white label marketing.
Oh,
So they help agencies, and just
okay.
started developing different relationships with John. And he's the one that is the actual founding partner of all this. And again, it's all within digital marketing. It's all within Google My Business. And I met some partnerships that I joined ventures with,
Hmm.
that I did with sales. And that's where kind of I am now.
Right.
But with my own agency and all this, it's more of a complete package where now we incorporate the website and the GMB
Right.
and kind of make it harder in a complete package for the client, because it's not just about maps, it's not just about the website, it's not
Right.
just
You can't
about
do one thing
ads.
anymore. Right.
Yeah,
It's
you
all,
got to do it all. Got to do
yeah.
it all.
Because you don't know what's going to work for your industry and what's going to change. And if this changes and then that's still working, it's just,
Yeah.
there's so many parts. 2019, you're already well into past Google AdWords and everything's like, it was already difficult in 2019, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, for
Yeah.
sure. And that's why I kind of shifted gears a little bit to one, add a more complete package, and two, stay in the white hat
Right.
realm. That's what kind of all this does, is stay in the white hat realm, do things right, and diversify your ranking factor. So if Google pushes the lever somewhere,
Right.
yeah, you might dip a little bit because you diversified, you bounce back, or it's very minimal.
Got it.
um
Yeah.
so that's kind of, from 2019 to today, sales and marketing for all this local, and it helps agencies get rankings on the white hat part. It focuses on a trade area. That's a retail kind of business. With MRI Simmons, they did a survey with consumers, how far they're willing to travel to make their purchases. And it's usually about between 10 to 20 minutes. And then, that's the area we focus on your business.
Right.
And depending on landmark traffic flow, right, population, and we develop there, do all the best practices, do the foundational stuff to help you be on purpose with your marketing, with precision, so you don't miss your clients and you don't focus on the wrong competitor as well.
Got it. Okay. So when you talk, like your example in retail, you can try and target, I guess, through geofencing or something like that. You just want to target people that are actually going to come to your store. You don't need to find somebody in Alaska if you're in Southern California, they're not driving to your store,
Yeah,
right?
correct. Correct.
Got it. Got it. So there's algorithms that do that. I think a lot of people don't realize that. They think like they're going to post something online and then they're going to get business right away. And it doesn't really work that way. You got to, one of it's name recognition and then doing it the right way and testing it. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't, right? I mean, it doesn't seem, with all the SEO guys I've had on the podcast and then I've met over the years, and not just Google, they do all kinds of stuff, right? Everybody's got a specialty. It
Mhm.
always seems to be this moving. I mean, I guess it keeps you in business, which is good, right? But it's always a moving target. There's always something that changed. Something was working, now it's not working, or whatever it is, and it just seems very frustrating that the bar or the finish line's always moving out. Like
Yeah.
that's what's happening. It's always doing that.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why you stick to the best practice and foundational stuff, because all this shiny object and all these little tricks, or black hat or gray hat, man, if you stick to your brand, if you stick to your service and the location that you do it in, on
Yeah.
everything you do, that be GMB, that be your website, that be social media, that be reputation management,
Right.
everything, all the little, like, the foundational stuff on your website, the title tags and stuff like that. Those three things, if you focus on those things, don't let Google guess, what you do as far as
Right.
your brand, as
Got to
far
be
as your
clear.
service and your
Right.
location,
Yeah.
and you're building a house on a solid foundation, so you can add all these other tricks, like we talked a little bit about yourself. Another, like, if you're choosing somebody,
Right.
one of my things is being on purpose, never wondering where your money goes. You should always be headed in the right direction. Do we hit a home run all the time? Not at all, right? But you should at least have the good, the bad, and the ugly is what I call it. This is where we hit a
Right.
grand slam. This is where we did okay. This is where we fell, but this is what we're doing about it.
Right. No, I
You-
think in marketing, if you're hitting doubles and triples all the time, no home runs, you'll be really good. That's fine. Like you don't have to hit home runs lead to strikeouts too, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
So you got to be real careful when you do that stuff. So, but you really learned all this stuff through those guys that you studied with, right?
Yes.
That's really where it was. It wasn't like self-taught or anything like that.
No, no. I mean, it was, like anybody else, like a guy trying to replace one paycheck, went on YouTube at the time, just, I don't know. And then this ad came across, it talked about a bridge, taking your client from here to
Right.
here and you being that bridge for them. It
Yeah.
was about computers. It was about marketing, something that I kind of understood. And it was within my gift as far as elevating those around me. So I just went down that path, right? And just, I remember being at the kitchen table, my wife, like, you weirdo, what are you doing? Nobody understanding the lingo, the language, and
Right.
just going from there. Yeah, just going from there. And man, it feels so good. And in the beginning, replacing one paycheck seems such a small goal now, right? It's like,
Right.
now it's like,
Well, when you say replace one paycheck, you mean you had a paycheck and your wife had a paycheck, so you wanted to, right?
well, at the time I was
Or
actually
you
a
had two
truck driver.
paychecks?
Yeah, I had a job. I was a truck driver.
Got it. Okay.
So I said, okay, if I can make $2,000, $2,500 more a month, which is one paycheck at the time,
You could stop driving.
well, I'll be comfortable. I just wanted to
Right.
just not feel choked.
Yeah, you just want to pay your bills a little
Yeah.
bit. And you had a couple of kids at the time too?
Yep. So yeah, absolutely. I had so now my kids are 28, 26,
Right.
24, and I have a 2-year-old now.
Oh my
About
goodness.
to be 3. But
I
yeah,
could not handle a 2-year-old now.
yeah, at the time I had 3 grown kids.
Right.
But still, I've always wanted to improve myself, wanted to do better, and
Yeah.
help those around me do so.
So when you went out on your own and you started building your own agency, how did you go about like doing that? You didn't have any business training, right? I mean,
No, so a lot of scrapes, a lot of falling on my face. I was always conscious of that. I always wanted to go to bed knowing that and to this day, knowing that I did the best for my clients and there's
Yeah.
something being done. So, did a lot of at the time Upwork, believe it or
oh
not,
sure, yeah, freelance
Craigslist.
stuff. Yeah.
Matter of fact, my first paying client came from Craigslist.
Oh yeah.
It's a method called computers reach out, just getting on the computer, trying to get in front of like people that are already raising their hand, already know they need marketing,
Right.
and then seeing if it's a fit.
Right.
I specialize in service-based businesses. It was my thing. And
Like
yeah.
as a lawyer, people that have services, they don't have products.
Mhm. Either way, even as I had one lawyer back in the day here locally, in fact, in Riverside. He just wanted help with social media.
Okay.
My first client was a real estate guy. He needed help with Instagram. Um, and it just kind of grew from there. Where I hit it off the most is like the service-based guys, like the plumbers, the electricians, the painters, the garage door guy.
The tradesman type
Yep,
of
yep.
yeah.
Service, home-based, service-based.
Right,
business.
right. Yeah, I guess a lot. I find that the SEO stuff works better for some industries than others. Some of them are like people, and I guess that's changing, right? Because people are getting everything online now. But it used to be that there were certain things, like in law. Let's use law for example, right? People would go to the internet and search for like a divorce attorney, things they're embarrassed to tell their friends about, right? Divorce attorney, bankruptcy, maybe a tax problem, things like that. If it's a business issue, they're going to ask their friend. They're going to ask for a referral. You need a will, you're going to ask your buddy. But so some of those, I know, I have a friend who's got a family law firm, and I mean, her husband, who's not a lawyer, he's an ad guy. He came on board, does all their marketing, and I mean, they do a lot of like smaller stuff, but I mean, she's got 30 attorneys in one office and 10 in another and 20 in another. I mean, it's just a machine. They got to come and throw it. I'm sure they're always tweaking and adjusting things. And it just, her kind of work lends itself to, first of all, people in a little bit lower socioeconomic level, so they probably don't have people that refer them. Plus, you don't want to tell your best friend you're getting divorced. You don't want, at least you don't want your husband to know yet or whatever. So you got to go find a lawyer. And, they were killing it. In my area, I always struggle because as a business owner, businesses search and they're looking, but not always. They often get referred by their CPA or they get referred by their financial advisor or whatever, which is fine. I find one supports the other. But so I do think, though, that you can't just be right. You can't just do it all digitally or do it all traditional marketing. It's got to be both because you don't know where people are looking, right?
Yeah, 100%. And it's different. That's why you really want to find somebody, if possible, like that specializes. Like, right, if you specialize in plumbers, if you specialize in lawyers,
Right.
Churches, ear doctors.
Yeah, because you know what they're looking for.
Yeah, you have the same language, you find the same keywords, you kind of crack the code on ads.
Yeah.
You kind of know what to do with the GMB, the wording, the website,
Mhm.
what keywords, what entities, what variations of the particular keyword that you're looking for. Have that balance, with the user in Google. But it does help if you find somebody that specializes in a particular niche or industry, because they know your lingo, they know
Right.
your pain, right? And sometimes,
Yeah.
like you said, it's not just digital. For
Right.
restaurants, mailers still work, right?
Yeah.
For
Placemats. Sure.
for like restaurants, like it's still, and a lot of times people think like, oh, it's just the marketing and that's it. But no, there's customer service. There's this. Can your team support it? Are you picking up the phone? Just the basic stuff that
Right.
you gotta have dialed in, because sometimes you come into a situation where you get blamed as the marketer and you look at it like, man, they're ranking number one. I see the phone calls coming in.
Right. What are they doing wrong?
But then you go deeper, they're not answering the phone.
Right.
They're
Terrible customer service.
horrible customer. Like,
Yeah.
whoa,
No,
whoa.
they say, what, you got a few seconds to make an impression? So if they're actually picking up the phone and calling you or they're sending some inquiry, you better get back to them quick because they're going to be.
Yeah.
I've had people referred to me like, say they're buying their home, right? So they need a closing attorney. And I didn't get back. I got back to them like within half an hour, 45 minutes when I was in a meeting. That wasn't fast enough. Like they found someone else. You can't, like it's constantly moving and you gotta, but I think that's true. I would say to somebody, if you meet somebody at an event or you get a lead, if you don't get back to that person in 24, let's say real generous, 48 hours, you might as well not call them. Like you're dead to them.
Yeah, and I hear it all the time, right? Like, man, I called 4 other guys. You're the first one I picked up, or
Yeah.
like, and it's just about, people want to hear you. People want to know that you're available. People,
Think it's got to make sense too. I talk to some guys and I don't know what they're talking about in your world. Like I don't. It's not a language that I speak.
Yeah.
I know Google My Business and I know SEO and I know those terms, but I don't know what that really, equates to. I just, I put out a lot of content and I like to keep it going and we try and always fix the website, but I don't really know if it's working. Like I have no idea.
Yeah.
And
we set up some stuff like, for those, like Google Search Console, Google Analytics, Bing, because
right.
you never want to guess. It's all data driven, all of it.
Yeah.
Right. It's a math game. You never guess. You should always know. You should always be tracking, headed in the very least, headed in the right direction. Because some of it, depending on where you're at, depending on your brand, it will, from 40 to 20, cut that in half, or even 10 is different than page 2 or the bottom of page 1 to the top. That it is a different game, but different keywords. You should have measurements, KPIs,
Right.
return on investment. Yeah, sometimes it is the long game because it takes a while because you're not established.
Right.
But sometimes you should definitely see. That's why you want to diversify You want to, get a complete package, and like your Google My Business, your website, your social media, your
Yeah.
reputation, all of it. But yeah,
Yeah, sure.
definitely.
And it takes a while to create authority to look like you know what you're talking about, that you
Yes.
show up a lot of times. Oh, I've seen it, Alfredo. He obviously is a smart guy. He's answering all the questions, or he's putting out a lot of content.
Yes.
And obviously Google sees that. So let me ask you a question. So why don't we do this? Let's take a few minute commercial break for my few supporters. And then we can come back and talk about the things you see people do wrong, things that they can do to improve things, like tips and not tricks, but advice without giving away the farm. And and then we can get into all that stuff. And maybe by the end of this, I'll have a better understanding of what my people do for me on a regular basis. But
Yeah, absolutely.
all right, good. Let's take a break. Here's a word from our sponsors. Looking to market and grow your business? Or perhaps you're just getting started and want to hit the ground running? Aweber is the best choice for online email marketing and automation of your business. From maintaining a subscriber list to drip campaigns and landing pages, Aweber gives you tools and integrations that make marketing easy and fun. As our partner and sponsor, we use all their tools to promote the podcast and market our law firm. Aweber, the best alternative for online marketing. For over 30 years, the Alternative Board, or TAB, has built a thriving community of forward-thinking CEOs and business owners who want to radically improve their companies. Through unique combinations of one-on-one business coaching, participation in monthly TAB board meetings with other non-competing owners, a suite of strategic tools, and customized strategic planning workshops, TAB membership can deliver greater strength to your business and a better work-life balance for you and your family. All packaged in a streamlined and affordable service that the people at TAB invite you to try risk-free. Are you struggling with managing advertising due to a lack of time or expertise? Perhaps you're facing challenges in scaling ads for your store. Are you feeling lost when strategies have no success? GSM Growth Agency is your reliable partner in overcoming these business challenges. Feel the impact of collaborating with a team dedicated not only to short-term goals, but also to building long-term partnerships and achieving sustained success. Embark on an exciting journey to redefine the possibilities of e-commerce and create a legacy of unparalleled excellence. Take decisive action now. Follow their link in the show notes to receive a complimentary audit of your Shopify store conducted by a GSM expert. Propel your e-commerce game to new heights with GSM Growth Agency. Follow the link in the show notes to learn more about all of our sponsors. And now back to our show. All right, Alfredo. So it's magic time, right? You're going to reveal the secret sauce.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it'll probably change by the time we're done with this episode, and it's going to come out probably the end of the year, 1st January, just before the end of the new year, something like that. So it'll probably change by then. So everybody who's listening, I'm sure Alfredo will be doing different things by then. But so first, let's talk about the things that you see, right? Oh, I know my question was first. You mentioned about working in certain industries and knowing those. Do you work in certain industries? Are there certain, you said more service professionals than you do product people, but is there any particular industries? Like, do you work with accountants more than you work with lawyers? Do you work with medical professionals more than you work with financial advisors? What's your focus?
So my focus really is with plumbers, but like I said, I have the garage door guy, the locksmith guy, the roofer guy,
Got it.
landscaping guy,
Right.
anything that your home would need. Kind of like I seem to track that, and I have some success with it.
And you've got, okay, good.
Yeah.
So then let's stick with plumbers for now, because we all have plumbing in our house, and I don't think that's going away at any time in the future, right? We'll need water. What are the kind of things like you come on board that you see? Because if I think of like my plumber, I don't think he knows anything about internet marketing. I could be really wrong about that. I'm not saying that plumbers don't know anything about marketing. It's just my impression is plumbers know how to do stuff in your house, with pipes and plumbing and the HVAC and all that stuff. What do you find that they're doing wrong on a regular basis?
So here's the cool part. I'm going to give you the whole sauce, right?
Okay.
Doesn't matter when this really comes out. This worked, back in the day. It's even more important now. And
Okay.
I'm
Good.
telling you, it's gonna help you later on. So
Okay.
I kind of mentioned it a
So
little
anybody
bit.
listening should take notes.
100%. Your brand, your business name,
Yeah.
the service you offer, and where you do it at.
Okay.
Right? And everything you do. So within your GMB, within your website, within your services, citations, you hear like this lingo called citations, your name, address, phone number. And citation is just the digital yellow book, right? So
Okay.
for plumbers, for lawyers, for any industry, garage guys, there's certain directories that you should be getting, the Yelps, the
Yeah.
Facebooks, all the social medias.
But all those places should have all this same information.
100%.
Okay.
So we established that, right? We established, those three things on everything you do. Your photos, the stuff you put, how you name your photos, everything is based around those things. And
Okay.
a lot of us have different services, right?
Yeah.
So, different images, same thing, your brand, where you do it. And then the only thing that changes is your service.
Right. The actual picture of what you're doing.
Yeah. So as far as like, let's say, even your website, right? Remember there's a foundational stuff. You have to have that balance for Google and your client,
Okay.
because you want Google to know your brand, you want to know your service and where you're at.
Right. If it's not
So
clear, Google's not going to figure it out. They're not
yeah.
human. Right.
So it usually starts, they read from top to bottom, and Google doesn't really read. They just take certain keywords, certain phrases, and they can
Okay.
figure it out. For example, if I say courthouse, filed, motion, uh, defendant, prosecutor, what am I talking about?
Yeah. Talking about criminal law.
Right? And I never said criminal law.
No, but it's all the keywords that relate to.
Exactly. Yep. Same thing. So that's what Google does, right? They look at the top, the URL, especially in your services section.
Mm-hmm.
Drain cleaning is it in the URL? And then there's thing called title tag. Is drain cleaning in your title tag? Is your brand in your title tag?
Right.
Is your location in your tag? Then there's a description, and then there's the first sentence of the first paragraph. And then there's a thing called schema. And then within that page, do you interlink with other pages within your site?
Is that important? So to have links all over your site, back and forth, different pages and stuff is important?
Not too many, but for example, let's say your drain cleaning relates to, let's say, the bathroom. Let's say it relates to this kitchen. Garbage disposal, or hey, this is what we do, all about drain cleaning, but we also offer these plumbing services, right? Heater replacement, repair, and then you have a little link and that goes to that. Then you have a thing called like blogs, right? Like supporting content, like all about that, right?
Like explanatory stuff, tutorials, things like that.
100%. Because even with drain cleaning, there's commercial drain cleaning, there's residential, there's different types of drain cleaning. I can come up with 5 to 10 different supporting topics that point to that.
Now, does the supporting stuff have to be written? Can it be video? Or if it's video, does it have to be show notes below it with the transcript? Because Google can't like read through video, or can Google now read through video? Like, I have no idea.
All of it.
Oh, right? So they can scan video too.
Yeah, this is what I mean by diversifying your ranking factors. So on that, let's say drain cleaning or water heater replacement, you can have a YouTube video. Guess who owns YouTube?
Well,
Guess
right.
Second biggest search engine, right?
Yeah, right. Google owns it.
Google. So then you have
back in 2019, I don't think they could search video, right? I don't think they were. Could they? Yeah.
It's all based on your title, right? We're not letting Google guess, because remember, it starts from top to bottom in the URL and the title tag and the description. Same in YouTube, right? You have
video
a title, you have a description, and then you put your name, address, phone number on there. And
Got
they
it. So it's not like
definitely,
Google's listening to your video necessarily. It's looking at the, what do they call that? Metadata
yep,
that's connected to the video.
100%, right?
Okay.
And it
All right. That
just,
works.
and then when you do a search on your brand,
Yeah.
and let's you just search your brand, you should dominate the first page. And if it so happens that YouTube, or it so happens that Google serves up a YouTube section, your YouTube video should be on there, your knowledge panel should be on there, your website should be on there, your social media should be on there, your directory should be on there.
Right.
Everything should be dominated on there because you have your brand, your location, and your services on there. So
Okay.
with
Because it
it,
connects them all.
yeah, so if you do a search by brand, you'll see the little bubbles on top. It'll say videos, say pictures,
Right. Images, photos. Right.
images. Yep, you should be in all of those buckets and
Okay.
dominate all. 100%. Look up your name, look up your business, your plumbing business. I don't care who it is. And if you're not dominating, you got some work to do.
Yeah,
And
but is that a content issue, or
yeah.
it's the three key things you said? Like you don't have those three items consistently on all your digital stuff,
So it's right. It's content with all
right?
those three things consistently diversified throughout all those images, video,
Right.
citations in the actual search, because you'll have like paid ads up at the top. You have the Google Maps at the bottom, depending on the
Right.
keyword you search. Then you have your organic stuff. You- But you should be in all of those three sections, but especially your brand. If you just do a search on your brand, I want Google to know
Brand
exactly
meaning
who
the
it is.
name of your company.
Yes, the name of your company. Yep,
If you're a plumber, right? Exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
So if you look up even your name, if you look up Alfredo, if you look up Purpose My Marketing, all this local, you'll start seeing those things being filled out.
Okay. So if you're doing all those things, then how do you take it to the next level?
So if you have to have those foundational stuff
Okay.
down, right?
Yeah.
The trick is finding where your clients are at. That's why I like to Google my business in a trade area.
Okay.
Finding your trade area, where you're ranking your trade area, what are your competitors are doing. If we look at the Google Maps, right, it's all the Google Maps is going to be, and it doesn't matter when, 2019, today, and
Right.
it'll be tomorrow. Customers' reviews. Make that
Okay.
as smooth as for the customers as possible. A QR
Yeah.
code, ask, just ask, guys, just
Right.
ask. And God forbid you include a before and after picture on there. I promise you
Yeah,
guys, if
because
you
that's very demonstrable. You can demonstrate. I can't show them one way to show them before and after what the contract looked like was blank, and now there's paid words. I can't show them that,
and,
but they can do that.
100%. Not only that, but if you look at your reviews,
Yeah.
if you go to your Google Maps and click reviews, the very first ones, or your competitors, or somebody looking for the very first reviews that show up are the ones with pictures from a year ago, from 6 months ago, versus like a week ago. So those reviews not only gives you a geolocation, because you can see on
Right.
my trade area in this map, I was right here. Here's the picture. I uploaded it. There's stuff behind that picture.
Right.
There's a review. There's words. Now you got reviews going on. Get reviews. Number
Yeah.
two,
Yeah.
stay active in the background. Make sure your geo map or your geo profile is completely filled out.
Okay.
Just yesterday, I'm helping a plumber. In fact, I'm on his GMB, his Google Map profile. I
Okay.
click on his website. Guys, guess what comes up? A big fat zero.
Oh, it's a dead link. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are bad.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, I won't say his name. Hey, Joe, right? Your website, something's wrong with it. He had no clue that where he was hosting it, they went down. No idea.
Yeah.
So
Right. You don't get notified about
all
that. do you?
that is like, it affects you, right? So make sure everything's filled out, make sure everything's working.
Right.
So you have your back end stuff, you have your reviews, you have people searching for you, and then you got a little bit of traffic going to you. That's what will help you dominate. Like, Okay, on your maps, I kind of mentioned a little bit on the website. And
Right.
then if you have those things set up, you can see where you're at, and then you can adjust. Okay, do I do ads? Okay, then I just, okay, this is working. I just need to pick up the volume on content on
Right. You need more
you
content. Right.
YouTube videos, or is it a Facebook, or is it Instagram? Get in front of your customers, talk to your avatar, your ideal client. And
Yeah.
guys, it doesn't matter. Like if I search for a plumber, I want to see something you want to answer on your website. What do you do? What problem do you solve? What do I do next?
Right.
Because a lot of times, if you go up there, okay, I need an attorney. Okay, this guy, okay, corporate attorney, I'm buying a house, perfect. Okay, what do I do next?
Right. You got a big call to action, a schedule
Yes,
this, a
100.
button, something like that.
Like, but I don't want to have to read it. It should just be right in my face. I can
Right.
just
Of
look at
course.
it and know, yep, there's my plumber. Yep, I'm having that problem. Call, boom. Especially most of the searches are done, and Google even has this thing right now where they're doing like mobile first, because most of the searches are done on your mobile.
So the mobile's getting a priority with the search
Yeah.
engine.
Yep.
Interesting.
The
I
way
didn't
it
know that.
looks, the
Yeah.
way the buttons are, the feel, the flow of it,
Yeah.
because that's where a lot of people for your industry, that's where they're coming from. So you can click to call, what to do next, and tying in the connecting the dots, guys. Like website connected to your maps, connected to your social media,
Uh huh.
and not only get reviews from um, Google,
Customers.
but yeah, customers on Google, but Facebook, the
Yeah.
Yelps out there, the Yellow
Yeah.
Pages out there. Get reviews, diversify your ranking factors, and make it it's simple. Like, man, Alfred, you make this sound so simple, right? Stay active on your profile, stay active
Right.
on your website.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, but it's simple. It's a lot
Yeah.
of work. It's simple, and people, you'll be surprised how many people are not doing just that alone. You do that alone, and I'm hitting grand slams right from the beginning, because I can take a snapshot of where you are and just do those basic, and Google will show you some love. Google will show you some love.
Right. But you redesign this stuff for them. You're not the one who's doing all their posting and sending out review letters and stuff. Yeah, that's like for a VA to do, right? I mean,
Well, with all this local, it does
yeah.
it for you. So it reverse engineers your competitors. If they're posting, let's say 4 times, we'll create 5 posts for you that are relevant, keyword driven. We can look at your map, your trade area map, see where your weakest at, kind of target those particular areas.
Uh huh.
So it does a lot of the heavy lifting, especially for those agencies that are helping businesses. You can double what your VA, what your project manager is doing, because there's AI built in. All you have to do is look at it,
Right.
approve it, and boom, it gets posted. And
Yeah.
it's based on your trade area and reverse engineering what your competitors are doing. So what I do for businesses is make the review gating simple. The QR code, put
Yeah.
it on, they're already like logging in with like
To pay or whatever, right?
yeah, like in the, or put it on their clipboard. Make it a competition, guys. If whoever gets 5 of these will get I don't know, In and Out gift card, right?
Right.
Measure it.
We don't have
Measure.
In-N-Out Burger over here. We wish we did.
Measure that, but make it
Yeah.
easy for your business to get those. Posting, make it easy, guys. I'll give you a link. All you have to do is take pictures at your job sites, take pictures and upload them, and then I'll take care of the rest. All
Yeah.
right, cool. We can do that. They're already out there for you. Um,
Yeah, there's ways to. I remember early on, I wasn't getting reviews. I wasn't focused on it. And then a friend of mine from Florida, she's like, "Oh, I send out a review letter every time." So I borrowed her letter. I set it up for me with links. I set it up automatically. And what a difference. I mean, I get people that say, "Well, you had more Google reviews than anybody, so I called you." And I never really thought it made a difference. And I was able to automate it pretty easily. I just move it in my CRM to the list, and then it sends it out automatically.
yep. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, people overlook that stuff, and you're right, you can automate a lot of it.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Google right now, especially, they're trying to protect the consumer and filter the fake ones.
Yeah.
don't worry about that, guys. Just keep doing it. Real reviews are having a hard time sticking, but keep at it. Keep doing it.
Right. Just
Keep
keep
doing
doing
it.
it.
Yeah, keep doing it.
Yeah.
They will ease off. If you do things right, you'll get rewarded. Take care of the basics. You're gonna get rewarded. I
Right.
promise you.
Yeah.
And
It's a
then
content game too.
100%, right?
Quality stuff. I remember early on when I was starting the podcast, a buddy of mine he has a podcast also, and it's called the E Tribe, I think. Anyway, he said, listen, if you just keep putting out content, meeting guys, recording episodes, publishing them, and now I promote them better than I used to. And magically, you get 30, 40, 50, 100 shows, and that's exactly what happened. Like now, I don't look for guests. You and I found each other. I get people referred to me. I got 3 guests referred to me today. I don't look for guests anymore, and a lot of it leads to business and name recognition and authority. But it does take time. You got to put the time in. You got to, like you said, you got to do all these things and consistently do them and keep them going and set them up so they can be automated, like you said. Because that's the worst thing you can do is you do it and then you fall off the wagon and you stop doing it, and Google thinks you like died.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy must be out of business. He's not posting anything now.
Yep. Yeah.
Right?
So yep. 100%. You got to take care of your back end, take care of your front end, and Google will show you some love. And then there's certain things that you can, like, it's quick, right? But you
Right.
got to make sure your foundational stuff is done correctly. Because if your foundational stuff is done correctly, you got your customer service dialed in, you're getting reviews, you're getting the posts, you're getting a little traffic, then you can pour gas on that with ads. Then you can pour gas on that, with like some content, because believe me, people look, and, especially the good customers that you want, no matter what niche you're in,
Right.
um,
They're looking for information.
they'll look like, emergency plumber, you came up, they look at your website, oh, video testimonies, oh, their website is clean, exactly what I need, the different directories.
Yeah.
Bing, right? Don't fall asleep on Bing. Those
Right.
are
Because it's
older.
another one. Right.
Yeah. And here's another trick, guys, another writer downer, right? If you incorporate that
Bing's
in your,
Microsoft, right?
correct. But
Okay.
they also have like a tracking tool like Google Analytics, Google Search
Oh,
Console.
they have Bing Analytics too?
Yeah, it's called Bing Webmaster Tools.
Okay.
And if you get Bing's attention, I promise you Google's going to notice and because Bing is a little bit more technical. If you don't have your technical stuff dialed in, Bing will give you the finger. If you don't care about it, we're not going to care about it. But if you fix it,
Oh, yeah.
it's like, okay, you care about it, we'll care about it. You did these things, we're going to show you some love. Google notices that Bing
Really?
notices you and show you a little bit of love, right?
Really? So Google watches what happens on other platforms and says, well, wait a second. If you're important to Bing, they should be important to us.
100%. 100%.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Those are really the 2 big ones, right? Bing and Google. I mean, nobody
Yeah.
uses what other.
Well, you could also do like in the maps.
I guess Bing is Internet Explorer, right? So, or whatever they use
Yep.
now. It's called.
Yeah,
Edge.
I think it's Bing as well. Their own browser.
They do have their own browser.
Yeah, but you have the Apple Maps. You
Right.
have the different. That's where their directories come in, and everything.
Right.
Because it's really 5 things, guys. It's your on-page stuff on your website, the technical stuff, the interlinking, your images, your schema. You'll hear about that. Then there's off-page. Off-page
Okay.
is like in high school. If you knew the popular kids, people looked at you a little bit different. The popular kids looked at you a little different. That's
Right.
what I call like backlinks, right? So
Backlinks from other sites that are linking back to you, like they think you're cool, you're important.
Yep. And not just any backlink. You want to make sure that it's within your niche.
Right.
and-
Relevant.
And or your location.
Okay.
One of those 2. Like if you're a plumber, don't go get like a backlink from a car dealer unless they're local, right? You want to either tell Google my geo area.
Yeah.
Little leagues, you sponsor, Chamber of Commerce, right? They don't really have nothing to do with plumbers, but they're geo relevant, right?
Oh, okay. So those are the 2 ways to link. Either they're in your industry or they're in your area.
Yeah. Well, don't just get backlinks. Like, if you can get the Forbes and all these big name, great. But don't go spending an arm and a leg just on those backlinks, off page stuff.
Right.
Make sure it's in that area. That's the key to there. Then you have your content. Make sure your content's dialed in. When
Right.
people talk about keywords, it's three things. Please focus on these three things.
Okay.
The entity of that particular keyword, variations of that particular keyword, and LSI, NLP you hear of that particular keyword. Just like the example I gave about the lawyer trial, right? So if I say oven, flour, apples, 350, like, that I'm talking about an apple pie or baking. You want to do that same thing when it comes to keywords and your content.
That
And
makes sense.
remember, Google doesn't rank your whole website. They rank URLs, and that URL should be tied to one keyword. Something that I'm learning to Terry Samuels, one of my mentors, is don't necessarily maybe even focus on keywords, expand, like with queries. Like, people are looking for, corporate lawyers,
Right.
and then there's a section in there that,
Phrases.
yeah, phrases, 100%.
Okay.
Kind of focus on that also. That Google's showing some love, and it helps you accomplish that thing.
That
So
are
we have
known in your industry.
100%. Yep.
Okay.
And Google already associates that with what you're looking for. So you
Yeah.
have your on page, off page, backlink, content, and then there's traffic. You know, and there's different ways to do traffic through ads, through social medias, and different aspects. But those are your 5 pillars. No matter what agency, no matter what niche, that will work. It worked yesterday, it's going to work tomorrow. From the time this airs out, focus on those. Like, if you're wondering if your agency, and I'm not trying to bash any agency, but, like, man, if you're struggling, look at those 5 areas. Look at the 3 main things: brand,
Right.
service, locations, on everything, right? From images to YouTube to social media to Google My Business to your website, different parts of your website. Start from the top: your URL, your title, your description, your H1, 1H1.
Right. I learned
Inter-
about those.
yeah,
Like, you look at a website sometimes and they're all H2s. There's 4 H1s, and it just confuses Google, right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I think all this stuff is really, really great. I think this is one of the first times that somebody's come on and said, hey, these are the fundamentals. Like, this is the stuff. And look, I'm not saying this is easy. It's not easy to get backlinks all the time. And it's not easy to keep up with all this stuff. But, working with guys like you, maybe getting a VA. I have a VA out of the Philippines who can work with guys like you and deals, my guys, I said, just call her. She'll, go through Slack, and she'll post whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then we create stuff. And there's ways to do this,
Yes.
to automate reviews so you get customer feedback, So, yeah, I mean, it all makes sense. Like, it makes sense to me because this is what I do. Like, I have to practice law, right? So I have a client, you come on as a client, you need me to do something. I obviously have an obligation to get it done and do it right and get you out of trouble and whatever. But I can't let the marketing stuff fall off. It's got to keep going. So you got to kind of build, right, your system that's kind of automated, like keeps going. I mean, like, my VA doesn't write articles for me because she's not a lawyer and she's not practicing in New Jersey. But, with tools nowadays like AI and stuff, I can whip together an article and then modify it myself and update it. I don't have to write it completely from scratch. And then I can drop, a half a dozen articles into a folder for her. And then she sets them up to put blog articles out, once a week or whatever. Podcasting, same thing. You'll hear from her about 2 weeks before. She does all the editing. I put together a thing that taught her how to do it. She does better than I do. And she knows how to do reels and Instagram and all the posts and stuff that I don't freaking know how to do. But just because you don't know how to do it doesn't mean you should ignore it, right? Because
100%.
The digital supports the analog and the analog supports the digital. And then there's the networking and there's in referrals and prospecting and reviews. It all kind of plays together, right?
Yeah, 100%. And, stuff that's effective, simple, fast, right?
Yeah.
It's what you're really looking for, white label. Um, there's tools out there, chat GPT automation, get with that. And all that does, guys, please, please, I don't care what anybody says, all that automation, AI stuff, all that does is the heavy lifting.
Right. Just gets
Help
it
you.
going for you. Right.
Yes, you still, like, even with all this local, we create posts for you. We reply to reviews. We create descriptions, but we do not have an auto approval or not, because you still need
Right.
eyeballs, right? We still have different niches, a lot of different niches, right? From dentists to just a lot of different niches. It doesn't
Right.
matter, right? But it's true with all of them. You still got to get eyeballs on it, because I'll give you a perfect example. One of the posts on a roofer, with the recent storms. At that particular time, there was no storms, right? That
Right.
doesn't make sense, right?
Right.
And then, like, I don't know, like, the lawyer stuff either, like, completely.
Right.
It's different laws, different niches, but you can put your human touch to it, your own experience to it, and that's what gives you that authority, and that is different.
So how do you work? How do you run your business? Like, if let's say you're working with a plumber, okay, he's got a small plumbing practice, maybe a couple of guys work for him, whatever. Do you have people around the world that one handles reviews, the other one handles social media posts, the other one handles emails, the other one handles the website stuff? I mean, how do you run like your business? How do you get all this stuff done? It sounds like a lot to do for a company.
So, I do have project managers. Mine are in Bangladesh,
Okay.
Nick. So is in Argentina. And it's an SOP. It's a process. It's that recipe I was talking about earlier. I use ClickUp. They know once I plug in the customer there, exactly what needs to be
The
done.
project management system.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
They know exactly what needs to be done, and what they need to do, right? Um, and they just follow that recipe, because you'll be surprised what what, like, the best practices, the foundational stuff, what's not being done,
Right.
right? And then from there, I can expand that. From there, I can expand that. Okay, I can
Yeah.
see through all this local. Hey, this area is weak, or this area. Like my garage guy yesterday, man, he's in Apple Valley, Hesperia. He wants to rank in Barstow, bro. I'm cracking it, but I'm not number one, right? We all want to be number one
Right.
in
But that's
Barstow,
hard, right? It's hard to stay number one. You bounce around.
especially far. This is
Right.
like
And he
literally
does garage doors.
garage doors. Yeah.
Right. So that's obviously local. You don't want to drive, 3 hours to put a garage door in. It's not worth it to you.
Right. So in this particular area, so now I know what I need to do, focus. I gave him some tips. He's like, cool. But like with all this, I can see a map, I can see a keyword. I know what I'm doing with posts. I know reviews. I'm
Yeah.
staying active. Okay, so then I can maybe pull out my, you know, AK. I can pull out my little trick, my little magician trick, right?
Right.
But for the most part, the best white hat practices will do so. I have a recipe already set up, and if you look at it, guys, it's literally what I told you. It
Yeah.
just
But
more
and
in
that takes care
detail.
of 98% of it.
100%.
Right. So
Yeah,
it bounces
100.
around, drops a little bit, but then you tweak it and do stuff. But if you got all those things happening at the same time,
Woo.
usually it's something you stop doing, right? You stop getting reviews, you stop posting, your data's wrong on all the pages, whatever. And
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
you
Yes.
gotta.
And that's how I manage it. I have a smaller team, but it's really simple because the process. And guys, time and time and time again, when speaking to agencies, when speaking to business owners, it's always the same thing, like communication, reporting, wondering where their money goes. Is it
Yeah.
working? And that should never, 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 never. It's all data driven. Um, it's black and white. It's either it's working or not. And like I said, I don't hit the home runs all the time, but at
Yeah.
least you know where you stand, where you're going. One tip for businesses, because I find, let's say the 5% that I don't do well, and
Yeah.
that I get them because they see something, and I'm not budgeting or I'm not moving that needle.
Right.
One of the things that I know is I'm the fifth marketer. that got to them.
Right.
I'm the fifth,
Guy
guy
in the
that,
door.
so I don't know what other things I've done the best practice, but sometimes you force Google to, put you in the sandbox, put you in timeout, and they're
And you
not.
can't get him out of there.
It's hard, or it takes a long time. Then it's your fault, though. It's the marketer's fault, right? But sometimes that's what I find. Usually, you're like the seventh guy to touch this. Why isn't it not working?
Right.
And I don't have all the information. I can't help everybody,
Right.
but if you take care of those best practices with my team and that formula, like you said, 98% of that stuff is take care, and just be consistent with it.
Yeah.
And then once you have organic set up, once you have your website set up, your GMB set up, then throw some money at ads. Make sure you have your customer service set up. Make sure you're answering the phone. Make sure
Right.
you can handle the work.
Yeah.
You're off to the races.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than scaling your business and you get busy and then you fall on your face and you lose all the business because people are like, oh, this guy was terrible. And they leave you a bad review and then you're screwed. Now, what about also content? Like, does Google know how fresh the content is? So should you be refreshing your, like I find that when you write the website, I go back to look at pages and I don't need to change it. Like it's accurate still, but it might be 2 years old, 3 years old. Does Google know that page hasn't been rewritten in a while?
Yeah, definitely refresh it, especially when Google right now is focusing on content, that you're the expert, that you have the experience, that you have the authority, that you have the trust, right?
Right.
And you can refresh a content, look at it. Is the date, could it be just a date change? Is there new players? If you're comparing yourself, don't be scared to compare yourself, like, hey, top 5 plumbers in the high desert, right? Maybe there's new players in there. Change
Right.
that up. Maybe you add a photo or two, or maybe you take a photo or two away. Make sure where you're linking to, it's working, or who's linking to you is working.
Right.
It doesn't take, don't overcomplicate it, but yes, 2-3 years probably is the max. To be honest with you, I haven't tested that. I can't tell you, hey, this is the sweet spot. It is a
Right.
year, it is 2 years, but
Just
for
varies.
sure refreshing it, yes.
Right.
And you don't have to rewrite it. Just
Not
look
the whole
at
thing,
it.
just little things.
Yeah, did something change?
Yeah.
Let me add a different picture, because so in a group that I'm in, with Nate Gotch, he literally he experimented with that. He literally took a blog and took just all the images off, and boom, it refreshed that. And
That's all it took?
he just literally made it just text.
Words. Yeah.
Yeah, and bam, and refreshed it, because Google sees it as something new.
New. Right. Yeah. It's interesting. And they'll figure a way around that at some point.
Yeah, and yeah, maybe give it a fresh look, give it a list, play with it. But the fact that you need to refresh your current content, 100%, that's not a question. Just don't overstress yourself. Just little changes will make a difference.
Right. All right. So I appreciate it. We spent about an hour together, and tell me, so what's the best way for people to interact with you and to connect with you? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Facebook, Instagram? What do you prefer?
I like Facebook. Yeah, Facebook, Alfredo Delgado. You'll see my mug on there.
Okay.
Or YouTube.
Okay. You have a lot of self-help videos and stuff on YouTube?
Yeah, just little tips like this.
Yeah.
I literally give the sauce away.
Yeah.
If you need help or looking at a page, hey, where's this at? Where are my holes at? I do that constantly. I'm about value, about connection, the relationship.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I got colleagues who be like, you shouldn't be telling them that. They won't need a lawyer. I'm like, you really think that if you teach them how to do everything, that they're going to magically do it on their own?
Yeah. And
like, you think you give away all those SEO tricks, they won't need you anymore? No way. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, because they're focusing on their business.
Right.
And then that's my gift.
Like, they want to understand what you're doing and have appreciation for how smart you are about it and what you know. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, the real people who you want them to be your customers, they don't want to do it themselves. They want to focus on their business. They want to understand it.
Yeah.
But they don't want to send out, ask for review letters and fresh their content and make sure that the meta tags are correct. And it's ridiculous. Yeah, eventually, you want to have somebody do it for you.
100%.
That's the goal. So, all right, Alfredo, I'm sure it's about 3 hours earlier out there because you're in California, right?
Yeah. 1:10 at the time of this recording. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, we're 4:00 here. And stick around. We'll go to the credits. And I appreciate it. This is absolutely awesome. Really, really good stuff that I hope, people will write down and follow and connect with you and, learn more about that stuff. So just stick around and let's go to the credits, okay?
Perfect.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Accidental Entrepreneur. Opening and closing music written and performed by Howie Moskovich and made to order music. For information about Howie and his music services, please follow the link in our show notes. If you like the podcast, please tell others about us. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, on Amazon Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and most of the other podcast directories. If you like what you hear, please leave us a 5-star review and feel free to share our episodes on social media. If you have any questions or comments, ideas for the show, or you'd even like to appear as a guest, reach out to us by email at info@beinhakerlaw.com.
The Accidental Entrepreneur is hosted by Mitch Beinhaker and produced by Beinhaker Law. If you'd like to learn more about our business and legal services, you can find us on social media or visit our website at beinhakerlaw.com. Thanks for listening, and be sure to subscribe to our feed to be notified of all future episodes.